When did we stop dreaming? When did we shrink our goals, quiet our voice, or just settle for just fine? Welcome to Dream Bigger. This isn't about just becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to shrink. That's why this space is now called Dream Bigger. It's not just a new name, it's who I've always been. And maybe you've always been that person too. I remember back to the first time I was little. You know, when we're little, we all have these big dreams. We we don't have boundaries. We don't have borders, right? We just like everything is a free for all. We think we can do anything. Whether I remember wanting to be an actress, or in times I wanted to be a lawyer. And how many times have we, as we were little, wanted to be an astronaut or president? We just dreamt big. We dreamt so big. That's what I love about children. I think that's why Jesus says, let the children come to me, because they're just so open minded with everything. They dream big. And we did dream big. And then something happened along the line. Maybe we were in elementary and we were playing softball. I'm speaking for myself. And we were afraid of the ball. And people made fun of us because every time the ball came, we ducked. I dropped the bat. I ducked. I didn't want to get hit in the face. I was not a sports person by any means. So I got, people would tease me. Oh, Tracy's afraid of the ball. Yeah, I am afraid of the ball. Yeah, I don't want it hitting me in the face. Yeah, I'm afraid of the ball. I'm not going to grow up to be a professional softball player, so does it really matter to me, right? Or maybe we got into junior high and, maybe we tried out for a sport or cheerleading or something. We didn't make it. Maybe we got clothes for the first day of school and we're so excited to wear them. And we walk out that door thinking we look so good just to get to school and have somebody make fun of us or our outfit or something. You guys, we all started out dreaming big, really big. And then somewhere along the line, we started to shrink because we started to listen to people and it got into our head. And then by the time we're an adult in our late teens, early 20s, right? Now all of a sudden we have all this stuff in our head that's made us shrink. It's made us self-conscious. It's made us worry about what other people think. Yeah, it happens. What dreams do you have that you had when you were a small child? Let me rephrase that. What dreams did you have as a child or a young adult that you just kind of lost touch with? I'd love to know. You can put it in the comments. I'd love to know. And how do we get it back? How do we get it back? So, as these videos go on and you get to know me a little bit more better, I will share more and more about my life and things, because it's been, pretty colorful to say the least. And, but I did quit dreaming and I did let things and people get into my head and I started to believe it. I love what Eleanor Roosevelt says. She says, it's none of my business what you think of me. And I used to say that all the time. I even had it written on a sticky note, on the refrigerator. But I'm really starting to live that. Like, I've been living that for the last year or so. And sometimes that comes with wisdom and age. And sometimes it comes from just other things that we can do, which is what I'm going to share with you. I don't want you to wait as long as I waited. But you guys, write that down. Write that down. It is none of my business what anybody thinks of me. It's none of my business what you think of me. That's powerful. And when we can start to live that, that's when things change. So when we lose our dreams because of things that happened, growing up, things that were being said, sometimes kids are mean, sometimes kids are bullies, right? We just kind of shrink back. We shrink back. And there is a way to get that back. I'm going to fast forward into my life when I was 56. I'm going to give you an example. So I was help launching a company, and I was, really excited about it. And but I had a lot of, I'd been in direct sales, basically since 1988. I first started out with a cosmetic company. I was a single mom, 4 little kids, and it was a great way to make a little bit of income, while I could still be around the children because they were really young. So I got into direct sales, and I had done that throughout the years. And there are reasons why I never really had huge success with it, but that's for another video. But we're going to fast forward. So I had been familiar with, direct sales, and I was helping launch a company in 2017. I'd gotten out of it for quite a while, became a merchant marine. That's a whole nother video. But this company was launching, and I thought this is going to be a good thing. This is going to be big. So I jumped in, and I knew that I had a lot of baggage, and I knew that, excuse me, I knew that if I didn't get this right, that I wouldn't get anything right. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always got. So I knew I had to do something different. So the first thing I did was I got the book, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I can never pronounce her name right. I apologize, Jen, but she's a great author. It's a yellow book on Amazon. You Are a Badass. So I got that book and I started reading it, and I read it in like 5 days. Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm dyslexic. So it's really hard for me to read. So how I read is I get highlighters, and as I'm reading the words, I highlight it and then I can see it. But this is what was powerful for me. The first time I read it, I used a yellow highlighter, and then of what stood out to me, of like what I needed to work on. And then every time I'd read it, I would use a different color of highlighter, and I could see how far I'd come, what I've already worked on, and maybe what I need to work on that I didn't know I needed to work on the first time I read it, if that makes sense. So that's the first book I read, and it really helped me to face a lot of demons in my closet. So that was the first thing I did. And you know what, y'all, I can't recommend the book enough. If you've got some, junk in the trunk, or baggage, I guess junk in the trunk's not your head, but that's my head. This is my trunk. So get the book. It's really good. It's really, really good. Get the book. Then I met this incredible person on Facebook, and he's a very, very successful author. He does these masterminds all over the world. He speaks on stages. He's a coach. He's incredible. And his second book that came out is called The Game of Conquering. Y'all, let me tell you what. I'll post the link, or I'll post the name of the book in the description. But The Game of Conquering, that is a book I think everybody needs to read. It talks about the difference between being a survivor, or being a victim, a survivor, and a conqueror. Because we want to get out of that victim stage. But, then we move into the survivor stage. And a lot of people just kind of stay there and they're like, I'm a survivor. That's awesome. But now we need to move into the stage of being a conqueror. And so anyway, I just want to recommend that book. It's really, really good. But that's the book I read. I read it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I still have it, and I still read it. As a matter of fact, chapter 4, Conquer. Go to page 42. You won't see my name. But anyway, I still read that. If I'm having, if I'm having a time, if I've got some baggage up here that I can't get rid of, if I'm feeling like I'm sliding back from being a conqueror, I get back into that book. So that's a really good book too. It's a good mindset book, again, from going to victim, survivor, conquer, right? So that's the first thing I want to encourage you guys. The other thing I started to do, because it took me 56 years to start on all the baggage that I had racked up, since my childhood, as far as, shrinking and quietening my dreams. And so that's the first thing I want to recommend. The other thing I want to recommend for me, which is obvious for me, is talk to God. Talk to God. I'm not even going to say pray to God. I'm just going to say talk to God. And that's a whole nother video. But I talk to God because God understands my language, and I'm comfortable talking to him. And some people call it pray. Some people call it talking. I talk. But I just started talking to God and really surrendering. And that's another video too, but that's one of the things I did. And the other thing I did is I started to create vision boards. You guys, I want to encourage you. It's not too late. Start a vision board. You can do something on Canva, put it as your screensaver on your phone. I have that, but I also have a vision board against the other wall in my RV. And so I can physically see it. I have sticky notes all over the RV of where, wherever I go, there's sticky notes everywhere. It's affirmations daily, because I want to get back to the big, big dream that that I had when I was a little kid, right? Like we all want to do that. We all want to start dreaming again. So 2 books that I think can help is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincera. I know I'm not saying that right. Sorry, Jen. The Game of Conquering by Rob Sperry, going from a victim to a survivor to a conqueror. And then also, talk to God. Then you guys, the sticky notes and the vision boards. But here's what I want to say is really powerful. And I'm going to end this like this for today. I want you to start a journal. It could be a spiral notebook. It could be some, whatever. Get a, I like pretty journals, but it doesn't matter. It could be napkins, staple them together. But start journaling. And I'm not talking like Dear Diary and you're writing, paragraphs. I'm talking about just, the first thing I want to encourage you to do is just start writing out what you wanted to do when you were little. Most of us remember that. What did we want to do when we were little? Did we want to be an actress, an astronaut, a flight attendant, president, a vet? What did you just want to do this is what I'm going to do when I grow up? Write that out. And then sit and just kind of ponder that and think about it and just really absorb it. Go back to those memories of when you had so much confidence that that's what you're going to be when you grow up, before all this shrinkage started. And you know what? Then, you guys, this will really help. It's crazy. But just start writing out a couple of sentences a day of, in a perfect world, if I woke up tomorrow, this is what it would look like. In a perfect world, if I woke up tomorrow, this is what I would be doing. In a perfect world, if I woke up tomorrow, this is how much money I'd be making. In a perfect world, if I woke up tomorrow, this is the house that I would live in. When you start writing those things out, and they can be bullet points. I'm not a eloquent writer because I'm not. I'm just not. But when you start to write these things out, then it triggers more memories. It triggers more aha moments. It triggers more, things in our minds. So when you start to write it out, it's going to trigger things. And sometimes you might come back to that and go, oh, I got to write that down. You don't have to share it with anybody, duct tape it shut. You don't have to share it. But I want to encourage you to start dreaming bigger. And we all hear about personal development. That's another video, but I just want to touch on it today. What we put into our mind is what we live with and what we sleep with. So what are you putting into your mind? You are worth taking 10 minutes a day to spend on something positive, some type of personal development book. You're worth it. And what it can do for you, you may not see it or feel it in the beginning, but I guarantee you're going to wake up one day and you're going to go, oh my gosh. And it's going to click and you're going to start feeling better. So I want to encourage you guys. Personal development, whether it's audiobook. I fall asleep to audiobooks every night. I do personal development every day. And that's not included my time with God. You guys, it really can start your dreams to come true. And the last thing I want to say is, you know what? Give it up to God and just tell him, Lord, you know what? When I was a kid, I dreamt so big. You gave me dreams. God puts in our heart what we desire. I think before we're even born, he created us. He knows all the hairs on our head in our mother's womb, right? So he would never put a desire in our heart that we didn't want to do, or we couldn't obtain. So just say, hey, Lord, you know what? Restore those dreams. Restore those big, big dreams. And just start talking to God. You guys, this is how it starts. This is what I did to start dreaming bigger again. And I mean bigger. And incredible things happened, which is for another video. So I just want to say, hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give me a like. But thank you for joining. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys again. You know what? Dream big and then dream bigger.